James Spann tweeted this week in response to an article that CNN has. First, let me tell you what the CNN article is.
So it's a CNN thing. Is whether somebody cussing him out again?
No. It's and actually tone was important here, I thought. Right.
Yes.
So CNN says NOAA is warning of a group that views Doppler radars as, quote, weather weapons and poses a potential threat to U.S. weather infrastructure and personnel. And James Spann writes, we have a serious mental health crisis in this country. And sometimes Spann's tweets can be sarcastic. Sometimes the tone is funny. And I actually thought that was the best quote tweet of that headline because I saw lots of quote tweets. And he's dead serious about characterizing this situation.
Yeah,
I'm sure Brad gets the questions
real
like
problem. I can tell you, I know several Weather Service employees at several offices who have had people show up, threatening facilities and infrastructure because they feel NEXRAD Doppler, which, by the way, guys, they've been around since 1988. It's like we act like it's some kind of new thing. Yeah. These are old radars. They been
work
running
off of floppy
for
disks.
decades. Yeah, so where were you in 1988? I'm like, you guys, you missed the boat on the start of this thing.
It's funny you say that because I've just noticed that Tom Nizzle has replied. Tom Nizzle, who went on to have a broadcast career and worked at the National Weather Service, he wrote back to James Spann. We went through this back in the 90s when he worked at NWS Buffalo. The hysterical NIMBY people who came within a hair of closing our office for good, they knew a little about something, and controlling policy can be very dangerous. I thought that was
so maybe they're just now the internet. All the crazy people can find each other. That's the problem.
the town hall that is the internet.
Yeah, but it is crazy. And the thing that is really, and honestly, no joking aside, that's scary about this is some of these offices have such limited staffing that.
Are you looking at my tabs? Can you see my tabs?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what is the one? Was it? Is it the Hastings office? No, it was Montana. One of the offices in Montana. It was Goodman. Yeah, Western Kansas, right? So one of the first offices that will have nobody on staff for the overnight shift, which is pretty scary in Kansas.
Yes,
right.
Frank,
that's not the office I want. Nobody there in the middle of night.
No, it was bad enough when they were doing that in like Sacramento too, right?
Yeah, can we do that at Palm Springs? Maybe that would be.
Yeah. So
San Diego.
The headline on the screen for audio listeners, the same CNN climate reporter reporting that U.S. weather forecast offices are in worse shape than previously known, with 30 NWS forecast offices missing meteorologists in charge. That is like the chief manager in the building, and about a dozen. And about a dozen offices at risk of no longer serving their communities 24/7, as Brad just mentioned. And for our local listeners at home, we should mention that one of those offices missing in MIC is Columbia.
Yeah.
Rich Okulski retired recently.
Yeah.
And they're even further shorthanded. The average Weather Service office has about 25 meteorologists, and Columbia is operating at a -8, I think, right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we should say that going into the year, before any of this stuff happened, there were 300 vacancies already of forecasters in the government. So this has just made the situation way, way worse. And I'm hoping. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it's a rough time for the Weather Service, and I'm hoping at some point there's going to be an inflection point where cooler heads will prevail and people realize, what are we doing here? And there will be a rehiring and maybe a big surge, because I hope it doesn't take a disaster. That's the only thing I fear, that it doesn't take like another Helene or something during hurricane season or in severe season that causes everyone to go, oh, how come we didn't get a warning? Or why was this data not there? Well, we cut those.